Yesterday, I listened to the Alberta morning show with the two co-hosts on 6:30 Chat. I should say the millennial because they're youngins, if you know what I mean. Well, they're too young to know history, to have experienced the history of Alberta. But they had a lot of people text in what their opinion is on Wexit. It was here and there, right? They said, "Oh, it's mostly against," and "Oh, why would you want to do that? Why don't you try to change things?" And then realized that they already tried to do that, and it failed. And you got to understand, every time they try to do things like that, it takes a generation almost. How long was the Reform Party in government, or a major had a major role in government? There was the official opposition. Could they affect any change? No. Only if you form a government can you affect change. Can a premier affect change? No. Except Quebec. Quebec can do that because they have the seats. They've always had the threat. Oh, we'll leave. Oh, we'll leave if you don't give us this. And they go, oh no, we don't want you to leave. Stay and we'll give you anything you want. Well, could Alberta do that? They don't. So it's weird. Alberta could say we can leave if you don't give us this or that. They might be inclined to say, you can't. We won't let you. Well, it's now drawn into law of how a province can secede. So they can't stop you from leaving. And you can't affect the vote. You cannot affect the vote. So you don't have any members of parliament. So what does it matter? You don't matter. You never will. You never have. We used to want your oil, but now we've got your money, and now we don't even want your oil, so we just want your money. There's brain dead. Brain dead, hello. Back in 1982, this reached a fever pitch, and they got Alberta elected its first ever first ever separatist member of the legislature, Gordon Kessler. It was in a by-election. People were pissed. They said, we've had enough. We're not going to stand for the status quo. We want something. We won out. Actually, back then it was part of it was we won out. We don't want it the same. And it scared the hell out of the establishment. They worked like crazy during the regular election a year later to get him out. And yeah, they had the money. And of course, another PC, regressive conservative, was elected back in. That was in 1982. Almost a decade later, something special happened. that nobody's ever seen in any province or state in the United States or the Western Hemisphere. Ralph Klein became the premier, and it took him maybe, I don't know, 10 years, but he made Alberta debt-free. And he had to do it under austere federal regulations, constantly having to pay out billions to Quebec, the federal government, for interprovincial transfer payments. There's many things he tried to do that were very independent-minded. He had no support from any other place. He was the original Trump, if you know what I mean. I remember the night Ralph Klein was elected and came into office, he stood red-faced, and he said in the slightly intoxicated way, "Welcome to Ralph's world." And millennials can't remember Ralph. He never existed in their mind. And what happened after Ralph? Well, guess what? They went, "Hey, let's borrow some money." Debt-free status gone. Imagine an independent country, a republic of Alberta that works towards being debt-free. We would be the only debt-free country in the world. That's better than having a nuclear bomb. Nobody can push you around. Nobody can buy you like the Chinese like to do. Nobody owns you. You own yourself. Alberta has... I've heard the statistics different, but as much oil as Saudi Arabia. We can be self-sustaining. We've got natural resources to sell to anyone. Canada might even want to buy it. And here's another thing that I never could understand what the problem with Canada was. There's a country out there called the Turks and Caicos Islands. They wanted to become a part of Canada a couple of times, and it was voted down both times. What? Well, as an independent Alberta, I would strongly recommend going after the Turks and Caicos and say, hey, if you want to be a territory of ours, we're cool with that. That means people earning Alberta dollars could spend Alberta dollars on an equal par in the Turks and Caicos and have a nice holiday, come back, and get back to work. I think that would be fantastic. There's a lot of hope. Don't let people say, hey, let's give it a chance. Maybe we can change their minds. Because you ain't ever going to change no one's mind. They might go, oh, sure, yeah, we'll talk about it. And their only ploy is to stall until it dies. They want to stall you and then destroy you. Wexit has to push and push and push and grow and grow and grow and never yield to nothing, never give up. Then it will happen. Have a nice day. Oh, I forgot to say, thumbs up if you like. And if you don't like it, yeah, that's east. No, since the Alberta, that should be east. Toronto's that way. They're looking for a new resident. Get out.